Kenny Clark, and this is Lombardi's Bar.
This is one of my favorite podcasts to do.
I'm just, blessed and thankful to be a part of this podcast. It's a great podcast. It's a great interview.
Maybe I know that you guys, obviously being the best Packers podcast that's out there.
I had Malort this weekend, so I'm not tasting anything.
Oh, good.
He did.
God.
He did. That was fantastic.
Because it said, "Did you ever try Malort?" And I said, "No." And then it said, "Do you want to take a shot of Malort?" I said, "No," but I did.
Wait, who said
It's called
Peer pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I tried to get in a high honors English class once, and they called my parents and were like, "Hey, just tell him he can't do it."
It shows. It really shows.
I hate you guys so much.
I'm going to throw these two guys into the screen so that if I die, they can carry on the legacy of crap that is this show.
Hello, everyone. What good time we're going to have today? Or are we mucking about because the Packers kind of took a piss in London, eh? Bit of a downer, isn't it? I'm back, you bitches. Welcome to Lombardi's Bar, everybody. We got a ton to talk about. Obviously, the game, yeah, Emma, I saw it. Don't worry, I saw that pregame. I was coming in hard, whether that comment was there or not. We got a lot to talk about with this game on Sunday. The London experience not living up to what we had hoped for in the end of it. The Packers are back stateside in Lambeau, taking on another New York team. And if you believe the conversations I was hearing on the plane ride from London to Detroit, which was filled with Packer fans, the Packers should be, I literally heard this, the Packers should be a 7-point underdog at home to the New York Jets because, quote, the Jets are hot. So we can dive into that. We can dive into London. We can dive into Aaron Rodgers and his thumb. First, we'll start off by welcoming in one of our regulars here at the bar. It's Jimmy Christensen. Jimmy, good day, mate. That one's Australian.
I hate you so much. The second one, I was like, all right, you got it out of the way. Then you wanted for like a minute. I was like, oh my gosh, he's just saying all the words he heard over there at once. Good effort. Good effort.
I'll bring in, let's bring in Todd here as well, Todd Varney, to the show.
You can send your applications to Lombardi's Bar Podcast at gmail.com.
Perfect.
Literally no qualifications necessary.
We did have an encounter with a London street urchin, if you will, a homeless woman who came up to us outside of a tavern.
Urchin?
Yeah, that's what that was like a name for him back in like the old London time. Have you ever seen My Fair Lady?
No, we were born in the 19th century.
Actually,
no, it wasn't the 19th. It wasn't the 19th century. It was the 20th century. Sorry. I'm not a math guy. I'm not a history guy.
So
get to your fucking point. Get to your point.
She comes up to us asking us for money, and my uncle just said, like, move on. Like we don't have any money. We're Americans. We don't have any. We're not carrying any cash. And she started to walk away, and she turned around and said, "Oh, what?" Like she was about to fight us. But it was the most
right in the throat?
It was the most Cockney, like, "Oh, what?" And yeah, that was the most British thing I had.
So did you get beat up by a homeless British woman?
Nearly stabbed. The second British person that came up to us, though, we gave them some of the Canadian money that we had from when we were in Canada before, because he was trying to make a children's book, and he had whole illustrations. He had a full presentation like it was Shark Tank. So we gave him some Canadian money because we figured that was kind of.
Did you get a percentage of the company?
No. But we did get a receipt to write it off.
It's not like
taxes.
Shark Tank. Did he just look at you weird? Like, why are you giving me Canadian money?
Well, so we didn't have any regular money, and my dad had a single American dollar, and we tried to give it to him, and he said, I'm gonna lose money on this. He literally denied the money that we gave him because we didn't have any we didn't have any British money.
You know, like you were over, like you could have got their currency while you were there.
Everything there is cashless. They don't like carrying cash.
Same.
I never.
So then why would you even attempt to give somebody money? You just say like, I don't have any fucking cash, bro.
What are we supposed to get? Like the guy.
Nothing. Or you say you got a Venmo?
Look, man. I was just trying to give him. We were just trying to help the man out.
Wow. Okay.
I don't know if you were. It seems like you were trying to get on his company since he had to do a whole presentation for it. Let's not try to act like a good Samaritan.
Okay, I've got my list of things I loved and hated the most about London. Do you want to hear that now, or do you want to talk about football stuff first?
I want to talk about anything besides the game.
Yeah, I feel like you're not allowed to go outside of the country during the season of Lombardi's Bar again.
Fair. That's fair.
I also don't want to hear you complain about shit from London.
So
I only wanted to hear the things he didn't like.
I know.
So the 5 things I loved most about London. Number 1.
Let's narrow it to 2.
Number 1, public transit. You can take the tube and the bus anywhere, and it's fantastic. Number 2, the pricing. The pound is so weak right now, it was incredibly cheap to go over there. Number 3.
Make fun of the Queen while you're at
Number 3, the food and drink variety. The McDonald's in Britain have snack wraps, you guys. They have snack wraps back. And also, they don't drink Di Serono and sour. They drink Di Serono and Coke, which totally opened my eyes. Number 4, there is no Cuban embargo, which means I got to smoke Cuban cigars and I got to drink pure Cuban rum. Number 5, everybody smokes. And it's so cool because smoking makes you look really cool. So everybody there looked really cool. 5 things I hated the most about London. Number 1, it's too far away. They need to move it closer. Number 2, they don't sell beer in bulk. You can only buy them in 4-packs. There is no cases of beer. Number 3, limited accessibility. There are no elevators or like escalators in most places, which means I had to carry this goddamn stroller up and down so many stairs. Number 4.
Shouldn't have had sex.
Number 4, limited sports TV rights. You can watch every NFL game over there, but in a surprising twist, you cannot watch every Premier League soccer game over there on TV, which I can do over here.
Sounds
and
great.
Finally,
honestly.
the 5th worst thing I hated the most about London, everybody smokes. It was intense. There was smoke everywhere. So that's my London recap. What?
Analog or digital? Like cigarettes or vapes?
They're out ripping heaters everywhere, man.
Nice. Fuck yeah. Darts are back. Let's go.
Yeah.
Classic.
But every pack of like any tobacco product has just a gigantic sticker on it that says, it literally says like, this will kill your children. So they're trying.
Maybe that's why they're all smoking. Fuck them kids.
Yeah. And Emma, yeah, I know. Smoking is super cool. But also, like, I don't want to be around cigarette smoke all day. So.
Did you give your son one?
No, but he almost stole my beer once. So.
Respect.
Well, if you're going to give him a beer, you might as well give him a cigarette.
I figured, yeah. All right.
We're done with London?
I'm all for moving to the Great North. London, Ontario is right across the border from Detroit.
Hey, Dan, question for you.
What's that?
Is this Londaholics?
Is it?
No. You ever smoked these?
Why don't you ask the Queen? Ask my Queen commemorative.
The big homie.
Plated commemorative plate.
The big homie. You lost your big homie. All right, let's move on. I can't do this anymore. Let's talk Packers.
Do we need to? Because
was that the ugliest game that we've seen them play in a very long time.
I'll tell you what, the pictures at the casino we were at the watch party with were flowing pretty heavy by the second half. So luckily, the second half feels like a very clouded blur. And I don't remember much of it. So I'm going to lean more on you guys for that.
I don't think it was the ugliest one we've seen in a while. Even in LaFleur's first year, that game against the Chargers where they just absolutely fucking mollywopped us for 2 halves.
Now who's speaking like a
this one, at least we were competent for a half. Like we put up 20 points in the first half and then decided in the second half to just not make any adjustments against what's looking like a good head coach and playing. I know we'll get to it, but just playing fucking hero ball on Rodgers' side. So I don't think it's the worst like full game we put together, but that half was probably one of the worst halves we've seen in a while.
Which is worse, a game like the Chargers game or like the Bucks game a couple of years ago where it's over by the first quarter and a half, or a game like this where they looked actually decent and just collapsed at the end?
I prefer when it's over early because, one, then I don't have to pay full attention while I'm doing other things. And 2, then you can be like, they showed up flat, where this one you were like, they showed up ready to go, and then just like at some point decided we're done. Like, can we just call it at this point? I don't know if they thought like maybe there was some weird conversion with like units of time going over there that like 60 minutes wasn't actually like they weren't playing a full game. I don't know.
Do you think they're just so used to like not making adjustments at halftime? Like they just go in there, hang out, where they're like, oh, we'll come back out. No other team in the NFL makes adjustments because we don't. So then they come back out thinking it's just going to be the same thing.
The thing is did they need to make adjustments? Because for me, from what I remember, that first drive from the Giants, okay, great. That was like really the top drive that they had. That second offensive drive, it really was just it was 3 terrible plays, which we've seen before, that killed the drive. And then the Giants came back again and just had another outstanding drive again. I don't know if is it really anything that they needed to change at halftime that would have fixed anything? You know?
I mean, they apparently changed a lot on offense at halftime because they didn't do anything that was fucking working in the first half.
Yeah. And the thing that drives me nuts is with like, I know we're going to talk about this more, but with the whole, everyone's saying like,
you've said that twice now. Talk about it now. Like that's what this show is for. Talk about it, dude.
Well, it's a new topic, but whatever. That's why I said it again. No, I only said that because I forgot what I was going to say. I was trying to buy time. Everyone's saying run the ball, and then you have people on Twitter like, well, if they're stacking the box, you can't run the ball. Tell that to fucking Derrick Henry, who only faces stacked boxes and runs the ball. Tell that to Jonathan Taylor, who only faces stacked boxes. Like anytime you have a good running back, you're gonna face stacked boxes. You just have to still run the fucking ball or else you become one-dimensional like we did. And you have Rodgers, who just seems to absolutely refuse to play within the system and take shots down the thing that pissed me off the most. I'm sounding like Dan right now because it fucking drove me nuts on the Pat McAfee show that I texted Todd about it, to where Rodgers was talking. He's like, yeah, we had some good looks in the passing game. The running game was decent. I was like, motherfucker, it was decent. Both your running backs were averaging like 5 yards a carry. That's what teams dream of. Like, that's not decent. That's really good. Your passes were decent or below decent. The running game was what could have saved us. That drove me nuts. I was so irritated. I was triggered like Dan was. I was ready to go to Twitter, and I said, no, don't give him that satisfaction. I'm just going to vent to Todd in a text.
Speaking of going to Twitter angry, Dan, were you on the Lombardi's Bar Twitter account calling the game on Wisconsin?
Yes,
okay.
It was.
Okay.
I thought it was Todd.
I got the notification. I was like, Jimmy, are you? And we were getting ready to do the Pack-A-Day pregame. And I was like, are you trying to do the game on Wisconsin spaces, calling them cowards right now?
I apologize to anybody that listened to that, because Andrew Mertig put me on at the very first, and I had about a 60-second long drunken ramble from inside the casino. I honestly wish those were recorded, because I don't think that there was a coherent thought inside any of what I said.
To this day.
to this day.
All right, let's spice up a little bit. Let's get happy. Let's buy around. There were positives from this past week's trip. Todd, why don't you kick us off?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Jerry Gray. He had a press conference this evening, and he was asked about the Packers playing off coverage, and his response was exactly what I want to hear from the DB coach. He deferred general defensive scheme questions to Joe Barry and said his DBs need to be more aggressive. If that's not the way of saying, we're trying to play bump and run. We're trying to press. I don't know what Joe's doing. That's what I'm taking from that. And I think that's what a lot of people want to hear right now is, Joe, figure it out, dude. You've got the talent on that team to dictate what the offense is going to do. Or at least what they're not going to do. And Joe Barry refuses to. This was a perfect weekend to let probably the best cornerback trio in the league make some bottom of the depth chart, not very good receivers be uncomfortable all day long. And instead they gave them a nice cushion, let them get the breaks off the line that they needed, make sure that they could run their routes unobstructed, and then stand there and scratch their heads wondering why they're moving the ball down the field.
I love that Todd's buy around morphed into a pay the tab on Joe Barry as well. A twofer.
It's so confusing. Like that, when I saw that quote too, I was just like you, Todd. I was like, that's perfect. That's just showing like what a lot of Packer fans are saying on Twitter of just I feel like now that kind of just says like we're right in just being confused on what the fuck's going on the defense. Because even he's confused of just like those things you can ask Joe, I want to be playing like this. And with the cornerbacks, and we can get so Razul, we can all
You were just gonna say we can get into this later, weren't you?
No, I wasn't. We can and I was gonna say we can all get into this now because I have him coming up, but Razul should not be in the slot, right? Like that should be like a ever.
Mm-hmm.
And so many things, like they practiced with him at safety before. You know who sucks at safety right now? Darnell Savage, who's almost back-to-back pay the tabs for Todd. Like that's another switch you could just try because at this point the defense isn't working. Try something. And so, yeah, Jerry Gray, I agree. I'm going to buy him one as well, but just to get him a little drunk.
Real quick, I do want to point out, we do have producer Nick back tonight.
Which means we get producer Nick in the private chat, and that's the best producer Nick.
And I'm curious, are we going to fire him on his first fucking night back for the comment he just put in the private chat?
End of the season.
End of the season, fire Barry, fire LaFleur, hire Sean Payton as head coach, and Mike Zimmer as D coordinator. Nick, we're gonna let you
fire
stay.
Rodgers if we're gonna do that.
Yeah, we're gonna let you stay for now, Nick. But you're on thin fucking ice, buddy.
Okay, but seriously, how it's 3-2 right now.
Mm-hmm.
How much worse do games need to look? Does the season need to get before Joe Barry gets the Mike Pettin treatment and is gone before the season?
3-7.
So they need to lose the next 5?
I say if we go on a losing streak, yeah. But like next week, I'm worried. I know Todd said on Sunday when we did Pack-A-Day, he's not worried about the Jets. I'm a little worried about the Jets. Like that could very well be a loss. Commanders is a team I'm not worried about. So even if we drop 2 in a row, we should be 4-3 by the end of next week. So I really don't know.
But then you get the Bills. You have to go on the road to Detroit, which that's now starting to look like, closer to a toss-up than I ever thought it would.
If our offense does not put up 35 points against Detroit, we fire everyone at that point because Bailey Zappi put up like 30 points against Detroit. So if we can't put up at least 30, fire everyone. Give up.
Yeah, I think if they drop to the Jets and to the Commanders, and the defense is still flatlining, I think at that point Joe Barry's on his way out. Matt said here, not firing him during the season, definitely not the Packer way. Let's remember the old establishment of the Packers, that was their way. The guys that are
That's
there
what
now,
McCarthy with them.
they fired
back when it
McCarthy
was.
in the middle of the season. So I have full confidence that they're not just going to wait arbitrarily till the end of the year.
But
to
Matt
make that
does have a point, is that Matt LaFleur does. I mean, that's the reason Joe Barry is still here, is because he loves his favorites. He keeps people around a little bit too long. That's why we had Mike Pettin, you know, for as many seasons as we did when he took over. I honestly think, though, that if it's getting to a point where by the end of December the Packers are out of the playoff hunt, Joe Barry could there could be, like, you could get the the invaders at the gate kind of thing, you know, that people are calling for blood. It could get bad.
I'm manifesting. I told Todd this. He told me to put it on my vision board. Brandon Staley struggles as the head coach for the Chargers, gets fired at the end of the season, and we hired him as our defensive coordinator. That is my dream right now, because he made the Rams defense look incredible. He's a great defensive coach. Bring him over. Joe Barry, if you don't turn this around, I will pack up your house for you.
Are D coordinators the coaching equivalent of a 3rd round draft pick?
Shit, for the Packers, yeah, all of them are cursed.
Yeah, it's awful.
Well, on that note, Jimmy, who would you like to buy?
Oh, back to positivity.
For? Yeah,
I'm going to buy around for this one is a positive one. I guess there's a little bit of, like, why not use him more? But Josiah DeGuara, we saw he had a couple really good blocks during the game. He had 2 plays in a row, a little screen out from the slot. He gained a first down. He had a play that I was really impressed on. I thought he whiffed on a cut block, but I guess that was all part of the plan. And he went for the cut block, got up and caught the pass, which I thought was really impressive, because you're diving on the ground, up running, and you're able to gain like 8 yards. It was good to see him using the passing game a little bit. That's been a spot, ask Dusty. He just isn't used, which is really weird, because he does have ability to move around. He's quick. We saw him last year take like a 60-yard or like a short pass 60 yards down for a touchdown. So I'm just confused on why they don't use him more. So it was nice to see him get a couple passes. Confused on why they didn't maybe go back to him later in the game when the offense was just completely stalling. But hopefully in the future, that just means he's going to get a little more, few more looks throughout the season.
Yeah, it was really nice to see Josiah make an appearance, and that's why I felt good about where the offense was, because it feels like when they start you see guys like that start to get back into the fold and into the the stream of how their offense runs, then it feels like, oh, this is how it's supposed to work, and then it just went.
Yeah. Who's your buy round, Dan?
Well,
keep us positive.
I will keep it positive, because this was maybe one of the better Packer experiences of my life, is hanging out with international Packer fans over in London. Not only did I see, I mean, it was probably starting Saturday, walking around, we went to a lot of the touristy stuff on Saturday, and probably 1 in every 4 people that you saw walking around was wearing Packer gear. It was filthy. It was filthy with Packer fans. And then after, at the game, or at the watch party at the casino downtown, hung out with like 4 or 5 couples down there that were from different parts of Britain that came over. Everyone had a story about how they became Packer fans, and they've loved the team ever since. And I got to meet Steve, the head of the UK Packers group, who is an amazing guy. It was just, that's the other thing. Someone in Green Bay needs to find some more of these the cheesehead necklaces that they sell in Green Bay, because I promised a guy named Ian that lives in Southampton that I would send him to. So if someone can buy those for me and send them to me in the mail, I will Venmo you, because I need to send a couple of those international. But the international Packer fans were amazing, and I wish the Packers offense, specifically Aaron Rodgers, could have made this a game a little bit more worth remembering for all of them. But still a fun time with them.
Yeah, so I get my follow up to that is: are they still Packer fans after that game?
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Sure.
They stay Packer fans. They just drink a lot more than we do.
I don't believe it.
I don't know. They literally it was my wife literally had a group in front of them, and she turned around. She's like, "These guys are really good at drinking. They're really putting this back."
All stars.
Yeah. So that's my buy round. I'm glad they got to have that happen. So, all right. Should we just dive in? Well, actually, before we dive into this, because this is going to take us a while to get through the negative stuff. We do want to highlight still a couple of things that we have going on. I think number one should be probably our voting open for the best Packer bar in America contest. The link is up on the website. It's up on our social. We'll throw it into the chat here in a second. But the voting for the next Packer bar in America is up. We want to see the we saw probably the best, maybe. Yes, Matt Pickett. It'll be the second best because it's going to be hard to beat Max down in Kentucky. But we love doing this, like we say, and we want to make it a thing, and we want to go and find one of the best bars and find a place with the atmosphere. So go vote, tell us where to go, and yeah, there's not much more to it, but help us go check out an amazing bar. That's long and short of it. I don't know what else to say about it.
Yeah.
Preferably make it one that has cheap enough hotel rooms that I don't have to share one with Jimmy for a weekend.
I can't knock you.
Or it's nice enough weather that we can like camp out on the beach, or like sleep in a van.
I'm 30 years old. I need a bed.
I feel you. All right, let's get into this. Let's dive right into all this. Pay the tab, gentlemen. Who needs to start it off? I think Jimmy, we'll start with you here because I think Todd and I are going to take this to its logical conclusion at the end here. But why don't you start us off?
Yeah, I'm going with Rasul Douglas. He had 2 holding penalties. He also had that unsportsmanlike. And then at the end of the game, Todd mentioned this comment to me to where he was just saying, like, I had 3 penalties. They were all from the same ref. Later on, he did take a little more accountability for it, saying that, like, yeah, I fucked up. But, dude, like, to even, like, have in your mind that those penalties weren't – one, you fully grabbed somebody. He pushed you off and you fell into another receiver. The other one, you waited till they blew the whistle 5 times and slammed the guy down. It's just he's not doing well in the slot. There's part of it to where it's on Barry and maybe even Gray for putting him there. Like, he should not be. He's not a slot corner. We've seen that. He's played well on the outside. Put him there. Put Jair in the slot. But I don't know. Rasul, from having such a breakout year last year to struggling this year, getting a contract, like, we need him to just step it up. Like, even if you're stuck in the slot, fucking figure it out, man. You got, like, at this point, if it is what it is with Joe Barry, at the end of the day, players need to still, like, there are things for players to improve on to make the defense just look better. So hopefully Rasul can figure that shit out.
Yeah, it was.
Yes,
I mean, and the one of his holding penalties negated a sack, like just stopping big momentum type plays with his play. It was tough to watch, hard to see, and then for him to just not take accountability after the game of, like, it was the same guy throwing the flag on me and I didn't do anything wrong. And, like, they told me that I'm bigger than the guy and that's why they called the personal foul on me. Like, no, dude, it's because you fucking slammed him down after the whistle. That's why they threw the flag on
whistles.
You. Like, come on.
Yeah. So where do you think it's more likely to move him to safety and move Savage to maybe slot, or let him kind of be
move Savage to the moon?
So what do you think would be better than putting Rasul at safety, maybe Savage at slot or Nixon at slot, or moving moving Razul to outside corner, put Jair in the slot? Like, what do you honestly think is a better move?
I think put Razul outside.
Yeah.
Move Jair into the slot.
And then still move Savage to the moon, Todd?
Yeah, play with 10 guys. It's fine. Savage takes himself out of so many plays anyways I don't know that it's going to make that big of a difference.
That's actually, you know what? That's a good point. It's sometimes you are like you're playing with 10 guys because of where Savage puts himself into the game.
Right.
Yeah.
I will not get over that pass to Slayton where it was so far behind him that would have been a touchdown if Jones connected with Darius Slayton. And instead, Savage dives, gets his fingertips on it, making it look like he was somewhat close to the play. Oh my gosh.
That's what some people around us were like, oh man, like he almost caught it. He was this close to catching it. And I'm like, guys, he was this close to catching it because it was 5 yards behind the wide receiver. It was a really, really bad play.
He was also this close to letting up a touchdown.
Right.
to see how far away from that receiver he was. The receiver couldn't make a play on the ball because it was so far behind him. But yet Savage dove and still wasn't close enough to make the catch. Like there was that much room between them.
Yeah.
that he couldn't make that happen. Like just awful.
Yeah. That was bad. I think there was that also that really huge run from Saquon that kind of started it. Was that Savage that like completely like ran by the play and then watched him like run by him behind his back?
Yeah. I mean, he made a business decision at that point. He's only got a contract through next year because they did pick up the 5th-year option.
Yeah.
You know, he's after seeing some of the head injuries that have happened in the league the last few weeks, I don't blame a guy for maybe pulling up a little bit on that one.
Well, then retire and move to the moon, as Todd would say. Then
let's go.
Speaking of which, Todd, up to you now. Who needs to pay the tab?
I'll go because I'm going to keep this fairly short because I don't know that on a Wednesday.
Because I asked you to go.
What?
You said I'll go.
Oh, I thought you were saying it was up to me on which of us was going to go next.
Oh, no.
No,
go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know that there's anything on a Wednesday night that we're going to say here that hasn't been said 20 times already this week. And we can start to turn the page. But my pay the tab is Matt LaFleur this week. Not because of the poor game plan that was put out there in the second half, the inability to make adjustments to look like a football team in the second half of most of these games, but it's for consistently showing up to road games with a team that's not ready to play.
Technically, this was a home game.
Shut the fuck up,
Dan. I'm going to send you to the fucking moon with Darnell Savage. We are still taking applications again, lombardisbarpod@gmail.com. Get those sent in. No qualifications necessary.
Clearly.
But like, there was the California thing. There's the Florida thing. Like, my guy, get dudes ready to play. That's your job, is to figure out how to get these guys to show up and play football. And you're going to be on the road. You're going to be on the road a lot. So maybe figure that one out.
Okay.
One thing that I'm done. I won't go on a rant. Another quote I texted Todd where he said, those looks on those 3 straight incompletions. He's like, oh, we had good looks there. Passes we'd complete 9 times out of 10. Not true. You just went 0 for 3. So it's not 9 times out of 10 because he would have completed one of them.
I told Jimmy on that one. Are those 9 times out of 10? Is that against the Joe Barry defense? Because I'll believe it.
Speaking of bad throws and bad decisions, Aaron Rodgers.
Never would have guessed this from you.
Yeah. Right on brand.
2 fucking yards. You needed 2 bleeping yards to get a first down, most likely a fucking touchdown, to save the game and have a chance to win it in overtime. And you throw it twice. Which and now okay, I was not in a right state of mind after the game, clearly, as I told you. And then a lot of the post game happened when I was asleep because of the time difference. So I really had trouble kind of catching up on what happened.
Because of the time difference. That's why you were sleeping.
The alcohol
yeah.
get to sleep, but I was asleep for most of the post game stuff. Yes. Did it come out? What was the official? Was it a change by Aaron Rodgers on the line? Was it a decision was those plays Matt LaFleur calls? Who was the culprit for those two plays? Was it Aaron Rodgers?
LaFleur and Rodgers both had a play they wanted, and LaFleur said to Rodgers, go with the one you want. And so Rodgers picked them.
Okay. So then, yes, it is Aaron Rodgers' fault. You motherfucker, you run the ball for 2 yards and shut up. And this is why people rag on me when I talk about saying I'm excited for Jordan Love. I want to see what Jordan Love can do. This is the kind of situation where I'm talking about is I want a quarterback that's going to follow what the offensive game plan should dictate. And the offensive game plan there should say, run the goddamn ball with the guy who has quads the size of ham hocks and not throw the ball. At Jordan Love, I feel like I want to see a guy that fits into the LaFleur system and buys fully into it. And so far, that has not been Aaron Rodgers. He wants to play hero ball, and it's killed so many games.
The thing that's frustrating is everyone says, like, Tom Brady's the GOAT, but Aaron Rodgers is the most talented. But, like, part of the reason why Brady's so good is he is incredibly talented, but he also played within Belichick's system.
Right.
Like, it's not just – it doesn't have to be one or the other. You can be an extremely talented quarterback, but also do what your head coach says and go with the easy shit that's there.
Yeah. Wes Welker isn't a fucking Hall of Famer, borderline Hall of Famer, because he's extraordinarily talented. He fell into a good system with Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. They made guys like that outstanding. And that's exactly what this offense is designed to do. It's designed to make guys that aren't as talented as a Devontae Adams become like a Devontae Adams. And they can't, and he refuses to make it happen. He refuses to make it happen. Matt Stafford is making some guy named Skoranek a wide receiver in LA because he's following the system. So, yes, Corey's.
What
right.
did you think about his?
Into the abyss.
What did you think about Rodgers' comments on the Pat McAfee show yesterday?
You know what? Surprisingly, I missed it.
Oh, you want me to catch you up on it? I took notes.
Hit it, Jimmy.
He did no
did
wrong.
you actually? Is there a bit here, or
No.
is it just that
No.
I don't like Pat McAfee? Is that the bit?
No, just
Okay.
being a dick.
Okay. All right. Before we bring our guest in to join us, want to remind everybody again about our Kenny Clark charity that we can still sign up for this. The submission for being entered in to win the Kenny Clark jersey is passed, but you can still join us in matching every sack donation for Kenny Clark at the form there. I think we're up to a little over $100 a sack for Kenny Clark and his charity this year. So if you wanted to sign up with us, do that with us. Help out Kenny, who's been an amazing friend of the show, as you heard in the intro video, the new intro video from Nick. Sign up there, help us out, and help spur Kenny on to a little bit more, a little bit more action that falls on the stat sheet. That's what I want to see.
I'm great with Kenny being a silent contributor. He's kicking ass down there. He's one of the top-rated defenders every week, and he's not costing me money. Keep it up, dude. You're doing great. The thing is, they need to play more Hall of Fame quarterbacks because those are the ones that Kenny wants. He doesn't give a shit about Bailey Zappi. He doesn't need that on his resume.
He's not going to waste it on Bailey Zappi, right? No. Yeah. All right, let's bring on our guest, new friend of the show. It's not often now at this point, 3 years into this, that we bring on a brand new friend to the Lombardi's Bar family, but we do so today. Danny joining us here on Lombardi's Bar. Danny, welcome. Pull up a chair.
Hi.
How are you doing? How are you handling what we saw on Sunday? How have you been handling the fallout?
After the playoff can you hear me first of all?
Loud and clear. Yeah.
Okay. After the last couple playoff losses that we've had, I just get more numb every single year to these things. So, of course, I was upset and a little shocked because there was no reason that they should have lost that game. But every year, like I said, I just get more numb and it just doesn't bother me as much as it used to. I don't know. I'm coming a little jaded, I think.
So you don't complain to your friends like we just did for like 30 straight minutes? That's not what you do, because
No,
this
no,
is like my
I
third
do.
round of
No.
this.
No, right after the game, like the second it ends, I'm texting all my Packers friends, which are mostly Twitter friends because I'm from Buffalo, so I'm around Bills Mafia for the most part. But yeah, I text my Twitter friends and complain for a good at least 30 minutes, and then I'm pretty much over it. On to the next.
Not jaded, just wiser. That's
My eyes are horrible, so I cannot see. You'll have to read anything that comes up in the comments.
That's what we'll call it, Matt. Yeah.
Yeah, Jimmy and I, we started the complaining to each other right after the fourth down. I sent Jimmy a message because we had to do the Pack-A-Day post game, and I was like, "Are you ready to do this? Like, I don't need to watch the rest of this." And he was like, "Yeah, give me a few minutes." I was like, "No, like now, I'm done. I need to move on from this. I can't anymore." So, again, like jaded. It doesn't hurt as bad, but definitely just like
it sucked that it was such an early morning game because you have to live with that all day.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was
every halftime
made for a
report,
horrible day.
Yeah, you see the highlights and everything.
Might I recommend taking your family on a week-long vacation to London for the game, and then it's over by like 5:30, and you can just drink the rest of the night away. That's the way to
pass
do it.
out like you did.
Yeah.
Next time.
That's a long trip for a loss. That sucks.
Thank you for summarizing my entire week in one sentence, Danny. Thank you.
How was that flight home, Dan?
Well, my son shit his pants 3 times on the flight, so I'll tell you I'll let you think about how that went.
It's a power move.
Yeah,
it was a serious cut. It was he looks right in your eyes as he does it. So yeah,
that's how it goes. He wants to just intimidate you before he does it. Danny, you mentioned like you had your ranting to your friends in the text, and now it's on to the next week. So looking at the Jets, like what is your nerve level? Like, are you nervous at all facing the Jets? They just put up 40 points last week, or do you think it should be a victory?
It should be a victory. I mean, if you look at our pieces on defense on paper, there should be no reason the Packers are losing these games if our defense is playing the way they're supposed to be. I am nervous because it's going to be an even bigger challenge than they just had. Zach Wilson is more mobile if you let him be. Their running back is not as good, obviously, but still very good. Their receivers are better. So yeah, I'm nervous. I think this is even a better team than the Giants are. Minus Saquon Barkley, of course, but
yeah,
as a whole, I mean, they were you know what I mean? They were playing third stringers or whatever they had last week, the Giants team, and now we're going into the Jets with a lot more better players, in my opinion. So I think it's going to be an even bigger challenge. And if they play the way that they played against the Giants, there's no way they're going to win this game.
How nervous do you think we should be? Those of us who have moms in the state of Wisconsin with Zach Wilson coming into Green Bay, are there precautions we need to take, do you think, or should it be okay?
Hide your kids, hide your wives. I don't know.
Yeah, hide your moms. Yeah.
Because Zach Wilson
Sammy's going to be far away.
Yeah. I don't get it. I don't I look at him and I just don't understand it. I'm not particularly attracted to him, so I don't know.
Me
I don't get it.
neither. That
Jimmy
makes
I'd
is.
let him kiss me. Yeah, I'd let him kiss me for sure. I don't know if I'm his type, but we can try.
What did
All
you
right,
say?
Todd, have you changed? Nothing. Todd, have you changed your mind about being nervous about the Jets? Like, I guess my thing is we let leads go. Like we just did this week. The Jets have 2 comeback wins on the resume this year. Like that doesn't worry you at all?
Yeah, but one of
There's
those
too
one
much-
of those came from one of those comebacks came from Joe Flacco. So
There's too
We're
much
asking
talent on this Packers roster for them to continue to play that bad. Like I think what we saw last week, again, the first half, that team can beat pretty much anybody. I think it was the letdown in the second half, and I'm confident that this coaching staff can right the ship and prevent that from happening moving forward. I think this was the wake-up call that they needed, that they can't let these lesser teams continue to hang around, because then they start to build confidence in what they're doing against you. And at the same time, I think the players start to look around and they're like, holy shit, we haven't put this team to bed yet. What are we doing? And get less confident, and it just goes from there. So I think that they'll come out and easily put this Jets team to bed.
They have to, or there's problems after
Yeah.
that.
I think that's that's the mindset that I think they should have, Danny, is like there's no more bullshit around like this is the Jets. The week after that is the Commanders. You don't lose these games. And so any other frivolous bullshit going on or anything that like maybe got in the way for this game, for this past game, I think it all kind of goes out the window where it's like London was a wake-up call. We had all this build-up to it. Everyone was excited. The players were excited to be there, and you did that. Well, now you turn around and you don't get the benefit of, maybe having a letdown against a Tom Brady team and that being understandable. Like there's no more excuses now. You've hit your low. Do you want to go lower? Like there is no further point you can go before this gets bad. And it starts with a Jets loss. Robert Saleh. Are we worried about Robert Saleh at all? Because the guy that's the thing I'm most afraid of with this Jets team is the head coach. Because we saw just last week what a apparently decent head coach can do with a lackluster roster. He made that offense into something that made the Packers defense look incredibly human. And Robert Saleh is a Packer killer on defense. And I don't know. We've seen how much this offense has struggled. Now you put up against Robert Saleh. That's what scares me the most.
Yeah, especially him and what's Matt's brother, Mike LaFleur. Just their history on the 49ers, especially when they beat us those consecutive time, or they beat us now 3 out of the 4 times since Matt LaFleur's been head coach. Like that, they know. I guess they weren't on there last year, but they were on the 2019 team. Like Saleh knows probably how to stop the Packers. He's seen what they did against the 49ers. Granted, they don't have the same pieces, but he knows the kind of scheme to stop Matt LaFleur. They've all worked with him. They all know the offense to get past the Packers defense, which doesn't seem hard right now, and the defense to slow down Rodgers now without a Devontae Adams. So I don't know. This one has me. I was more nervous about this game than the Giants one. And now that we lost to the Giants, now I'm just doubly nervous for this one. Might be my anxiety, but who knows?
Yeah, Jimmy, you got to
exactly
keep working
what
with your
Dan was saying.
therapist on that PTSD about the 2019 Niners, as well as just the anxiety you've got going on about some of this stuff.
Kate's sticking
we
me
all
now. I
do.
think she needs a break.
Yeah, Kate went on vacation from Jimmy.
Yeah, Kate's been gone for a really long time. She's canceled like our last 8 sessions. I don't know what's going on.
So Danny, we're looking at this game. You mentioned Zach Wilson as being, a different kind of threat that the Packers will see this week. Is that the matchup you're most looking forward to seeing this week is how this defense handles a guy like Zach Wilson, or is there a different angle you're looking at?
I wouldn't say excited about this one in particular. I'm a little nervous about it. But how is Joe Barry going to use our cornerbacks against these 3 wide receivers when what happened with the Giants just happened? Like, is he going to let them play to what they're good at? You know what I mean? Instead of looking at what the opposing offense is doing and trying to, I don't know, you know what I mean? Like, play to their strengths is what I'm trying to say. So I'm hoping that that's what he's going to do, because otherwise I don't see it going well. Just because of the game Slayton just had against them, I believe these receivers will do even worse. And I'm also looking forward to Aaron Jones. I think this is going to be a huge game for him. Jets are pretty low, I do believe. I think a stat that someone Todd, I think, sent me. They're 24th in stopping the run. So I think, I mean, we always say run the ball, but I think this game they really should be running the ball. And Aaron's thumb's hurt, right? He missed practice because of his thumb. So hopefully he just hands the ball off instead of trying to yeet it down the field. So I think Aaron Jones is going to have a big game.
I think somebody mentioned that about like the one game. There was that game that
Nagler did,
had the broken thumb, and they just handed it off, like 25 times. Let's run that game plan.
Yep. So that's what I'm hoping we see instead of the hero ball this time.
Yeah.
Let's hope so. I honestly wouldn't be that upset if we got a little bit of Jordan Love in this game. Like, if they were just like, Rodgers, rest your thumb. At this point, I know what we're getting with Rodgers. Just let me have some excitement coming into this game. Just let me see what Jordan Love can do.
If they lose against the Jets, then I'm okay with seeing what Love can do. But we got to win this game, and we need Aaron Rodgers to do that.
Yeah. Corey's right on this one. Like, I don't want to see Jordan Love in this game unless it's garbage time because we're up 3 scores. Like, that's there's no way that Jordan Love gives this team a better chance to win than Aaron Rodgers in any situation.
Oh, no. It's more of just purely because I want to see what happens. Like, I still firmly believe Aaron Rodgers is the guy, but there's just part of me that wants to see what this team looks like with Jordan Love. Like, for the betterment of the team, Rodgers is a guy. I do think they're going to eventually turn around. I'm still very bitter about this loss. I think we'll still make the playoffs, lose in the playoffs, like Corey said, in the divisional round. But there's just always going to be a part of me until we trade Love or he becomes our starter that is just very curious on what our team looks like with a handpicked quarterback from Matt LaFleur.
Like I've said, it's stuff like this that will I will take Rodgers, but this is the kind of stuff that will not make me miss Rodgers when he's gone. Let's jump into our bar bets here before we head out. Danny, what we do here is we have a couple of different bets that you can bet on, and you can wager between 1 and 5 Bakhtiaris, depending on how confident you feel about your decision. 5 obviously being the most, 1 being the least.
Yeah, Dan, I explained this to her. I don't know why you think I would bring someone on unprepared for this segment.
All right.
The last 2 times we did that.
Right. Let's fly through it then.
3rd time's a charm, assholes.
Who has more receiving yards this week? Randall Cobb for the Packers or Corey Davis of the Jets? They're both the leading receiver on their respective teams. Jimmy, I'll start with you.
Is Corey Davis not hurt?
I didn't think he was. Jimmy, we've got time. Tick, tick, tock.
Okay. Then I'm gonna go with Cobb because I think Corey Davis might be hurt.
Fine. Then
I'm gonna go 5 Bakhtiaris.
I don't know.
I just went. Motherfucker was talking.
Yeah, I don't know that.
I thought he played last week.
That doesn't mean he's playing next week. I can't believe I'm gonna do this. I'm trusting Jimmy on this one.
Hey,
I'm gonna go.
I'm about to Google it.
I'm gonna go 5 Bakhtiaris on Randall Cobb.
All right.
No, I'm gonna say Corey Davis, 5 Bakhtiaris.
All right. Danny.
Oh man, I don't want to bet against Cobb, but he's getting a lot of targets, and I think he's going to be a main focal point for them. So I'm going to go with Corey, and I'm going to go 5 Bakhtiaris.
So glad I didn't trust Jimmy. Producer
he's not
Nick
hurt.
just let us know Davis is
He's
not
fine.
on the injury report.
Yeah, it was.
He wishes he was.
Yeah, I
5
wish.
Bakhtiaris
I think
for me as well. Corey Davis outgains Randall Cobb. Quickly on these last two, will Zach Wilson throw more or as many touchdowns as interceptions this week? He has still not done that this year. He has not thrown more touchdowns than interceptions. Does he do that this week, Todd?
5 Bakhtiaris, no. I'm confident this defense is going to come out and play like they want to, like they can. They're going to be physical. They're going to take the ball away. I'm going to go 5 Bakhtiaris. No, he's going to throw more interceptions.
Okay. Jimmy?
It was Jamison Crowder who used to be a Jet. That's hurt. I'm gonna go 5 Bakhtiaris. No, 3 Bakhtiaris. No, I'm not confident, but who knows? You've only had like 1 interception.
Okay. Danny?
I'm confident that our defense is pissed. Jair is pissed off. You heard him talking in the locker room after the game. They cannot lose to the Jets. I think the defense is going to be on one, and I think he's going to throw interception at least. And 5 Bakhtiaris, I'm pretty confident.
I am less confident. I think Zach Wilson will throw more touchdowns than he does interceptions because we, for some reason, don't want to take the ball away anymore. But I'm not as confident. So, like a Jimmy, I'm going to go 3 Bakhtiaris. Real quick on this last one, real easy. Does Aaron Jones rush for more than 100 yards this week? Like Danny said, 24th in the run defense. They're the Jets. I'll start with you, Danny.
Yes, I think he's going to have a huge game. I'm not confident in LaFleur to let his players run it, so I'm not going to say 5 Bakhtiaris, but I think if the game goes the way it should have been 5. But I'm going to go with 3, just because I don't trust Coach or
Okay.
Aaron to let them run the way they're supposed to.
Todd?
5 Bakhtiaris, yes, absolutely. He will find a way to take the ball and run it this week.
Jimmy?
Wildcat. 3 Bakhtiaris, yes.
5 Bakhtiaris, yes. Aaron Jones, breakout game. Let's go, buddy. Danny, real quick, do you want to let people know where they can follow you on the socials and everything else you want to let them know about?
Yeah, this is actually the first podcast I've done this year. So I don't really have much else going on at the moment. I think I'm on here a couple more times. Not sure what those dates are, but and my Twitter handle is, what was that?
I said either are we. We don't know the dates right now, probably.
Danny in the Snow on Twitter, and that's really the only socials that I use. So
perfect. Well, Danny, we appreciate you coming on. Welcome to your first trip here to the bar. We'll see you again more times like this year, as you said. Sure you follow the show on Twitter at Lombardi's Bar. Follow us at Game on WI on Twitter. Subscribe on the YouTube channel as well so you get notified every time we go live. Me, Jimmy, and Todd's Twitter handles are all right there on the little bubbles. For producer Nick, silent in the chat, for Todd, for Jimmy, for Danny, I'm your bartender, Dan Connick, saying cheers, everybody. And we'll see you next week. And go Pack Go.
Go Pack Go.